welcome to the Football Fan Show podcast for this week. My guest is Callum Brown, and we are chatting about a new manager at Brighton, whether Gareth Southgate is right about Trent Alexander-Arnold, maybe Slabhead not being in the England team, you know, Harry Maguire, as well as rounding up all the other business, including a new television deal for Scottish football. Without further ado, let's get into it. Gareth. Oh, Gareth. Arise, Sir Gareth.
Oh, God.
In his dreams. Gareth Southgate has made a number of questionable decisions, not including Trent in his team, Alexander-Arnold. But what was his criticism of Trent? That he's good on the front. He's good at attacking, but he's not good defensively.
It basically said like his all-round game, so he's basically calling out his defensive side. But
Which
the thing
was
is,
not great on display today, so it's not...
Yeah, no, hang on. But the thing is, though, is that right, Gareth Southgate plays a 3 at the back or a 5 at the back. So a right wing back is there to be up and down. Trent gets up and down. Okay, yeah, the thing is, right, he's not... As I said, people say, his defensive work is not great, but he's not asked to defend on a regular basis. As I said to you before, he's not asked. He's asked to get up the pitch because that's where his strengths lie in his attacking side. Because he's so good at his attacking side, and he's so good there, people because his defense side is not as good, people call it out.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but they're all jealous. And I'm sorry, if I was Trent, I'd be retiring until a New England manager comes along.
Well, somebody
should be now,
I can't remember who it was, but somebody actually did say he should just retire from international.
Yeah, it was on TalkSport, I think.
Yes.
Who was it?
Was it? I can't remember who it was, but you know what? Genuinely, if I was Trent, I would look at obviously England born and bred, but I'd be looking through my ancestors to try and go, well, I could play for this country, and then take that to Gareth Southgate and say, this is the ultimatum.
I'm pretty sure Trent has, I don't know if is it American, I think, US ancestry, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure so he could play for the US.
If he could play for another country, then I think he could have it, because he's only made 17 appearances.
And he should well be having more. I'm not, and this is not saying like the other right backs for England. This is like one of the most best, well stocked positions that England have got. But the fact that he's not even in the squad, and then when asked about it, he's now saying, he's all round game. Like he's actively publicly criticising him and comparing him to another right back. And Kieran Trippier, okay, he's a good player, but he's nowhere near as good as Trent. So how the hell? I mean, why would I trust anything that Gareth Southgate says about a football player? What does he know about football players? Because he played professional football, he's shit, and he's jealous of Trent because he never reached his level at all in his playing career. And
I wouldn't say he's jealous.
Okay, maybe not. He's not jealous, but he knows nothing about football because he still
plays.
He
knows defensive football, and that's it.
Yeah, well, that's it. He wants to play a way that doesn't suit Trent.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
But it doesn't suit. I don't think it suits most of those players because most of them play in a attacking style for their club. Trent, Bellingham, Kane, Foden, Saka, Grealish, Sterling. They all play attacking football.
Yeah.
He just wants to sit back and not concede. When he's got a wealth of talent available to him, and he is wasting this generation of football players. And the thing is, like as I said, he gets paid £6 million a year for a part-time job. He's nowhere near good enough. The only reason why he got the job is because the FA wants a yes man. That's why they won't get anyone who might, say no to them, like a Mourinho, or someone like that. Anyone else who's better, right? But the thing is that Gareth Southgate has his favourites. He's a liar.
Well, look at Harry Maguire.
He has his favourites, and he says he keeps coming out saying, I pick based on form and that.
No, he doesn't.
But if he just done that for Trent, I'd understand it. But he still picks Maguire, who has literally been benched for his club team.
I mean, look at his performance against Germany. He was an asset to the German team.
Yeah, Luke Shaw, who's been benched by his team, still plays. Who else? Just that example, but he doesn't like some players. Doesn't like Trent. Doesn't like Bellingham. Players with a little bit of cockiness about them, you know.
Yeah.
He doesn't like them, but he doesn't want to play. What he wants, right? Good managers find ways of play that suits their players, right, and lets them play they want to play, right. What he wants to do is force them to play the way he wants them to play, and it's not working. And they're bang average, and they're awful. For as good of a team, as good players they are, as most of them players are, they're bang average as a collective. Like, the only people, you know what? It's so meme worthy that people only liked him during the World Cup because he wore the jackets, the suit jacket, and people started going buying suit jackets because of it. And he's a nice guy, twat, and he's a twat. And Trent is one of the better, more talented England players in the past 10 years, and he is wasting them. So I would implore Trent to retire and not be asked about it. To be honest. He's wasting his time. He's getting because of Gareth Southgate's non-inclusion. Trent is getting disrespected way over the top by the media and by, as I said to you before, England fans. I mean, they're bad enough anyway, but fans of England from like lower league clubs who, like, you know, they come on, they love all the England players, right? But then when a player doesn't get picked anymore, like Trent, they're all on the back about him. Oh, he's shit. Oh, he can't do this, can't do that.
I think,
and it's not necessary.
Before the game, everyone was begging for Trent to play.
No, I'm not saying people didn't want to play. What I'm saying is the non-inclusion of him and the public criticism of him by Southgate forces the media, and then by the media doing it, it makes everyone else, all the neutral fans, jump on Trent's back unnecessarily. I'll be the first to say Trent has been awful this season, but he is still one of the best right backs in the world. One of the best young players. I mean, he's still 23 years old. He's won everything. Better than the vast majority of other right backs that England have got. Right? And that's not me saying that Reece James isn't good. That's not me saying Kieran Trippier or, you know, Kyle Walker or you know, anyone else, any other right back they pick is not good. But he deserves to be in the squad at least as an option.
Let's talk about Slabhead.
God, okay.
God's gift to footballing comedy. This guy shouldn't be in the team.
I could deal without the comedy if I didn't have to see his face at all.
I mean, he gave away a goal against Germany with an awful pass and then a shit tackle to recover. Why is Tomori of AC Milan not in this England team?
Because Gareth Southgate doesn't like him.
He is a player that should turn around to Gareth Southgate and say, you either pick me, or he's got his choice of country. Because he could go play for Canada, where he was born, or he's of Nigerian ancestry, so he could either play for Canada or Nigeria.
You know what I was thinking? I was like, where's he from? I was thinking, no, he's Nigerian, but then I also remember I follow and I watch a Canadian streamer, FIFA streamer on Twitch, and he says, Tomori, come play for Canada, please.
Can you imagine, like, Tomori and who is it? Alphonso
Davies, Jonathan David. Like, they've got some good players, Canada.
I would give anything to see Alphonso Davies in the Premier League. I don't care who he plays for. I just want to see him in the Premier League. He's just spectacular player. But yeah, you don't have to be a good manager to win the World Cup. You don't even have to be a good coach. You can just ride it on luck. And the thing is you
have to score goals. You have to score goals. You can't park the bus and win the World Cup.
I think you can. I think his tactics work in tournaments, which is why.
But it's based on luck.
He'd reached two finals.
Yeah, but the only reason why we beat
one final.
In those two World Cup semi-final run and Euros final run, the only good team we played against was Germany. That's the only one where you can look at them and say, you know what, fair play. The rest of them were all shit teams.
They were kind of easy runs, but still.
We've got, like, the win percentage against the top 15 of the world teams is like 25%. Shit. It's not good enough. And people go, oh, but he's done great for us. Look at those runs he's done. Played and negative, like, we scraped through. We had easy run-throughs except for Germany, like I said, and we scraped through. I'm sorry, but for the talent that we've got, scraping through against shit teams, we like tournament after tournament. It's not good enough anymore. It's not good enough. You need the best teams, right? You look at the best teams in the world now, right? Who are they? France, Brazil.
I wouldn't say Brazil.
No, Brazil. I'd say Brazil.
Mm.
France, Spain, Portugal,
Spain,
Argentina. But what's in common with all of them? They all attack. They all score goals.
Mm.
And the managers let them play to the best of their strengths. England have got comparable squads to your, maybe not France, but to your Brazil and your Spain, your Portugal, right? But we're nowhere near as good as them because the manager's awful, and he can't think of good tactics that gets the best out of our attacking players. Like, I'm sorry, you play three at the back, then with two holding mids basically in a sense, and you have like three attackers, and all you do with the defenders is run. You pass to the side, run up a bit, turn around, pass backwards and sideways. That's all they do.
Yeah,
it's pathetic.
So England are playing Iran, the USA, and then Wales at the World Cup.
I'll lose all three.
Well, if he does, then he'll be executed, won't he, Gareth Southgate? I do find it hilarious. I mean, we've reacted comically to when he was linked with the Manchester United job.
Yeah. Hey, even talking about Manchester United, even Ollie would do a better job at the England job than Buddy Gareth Southgate.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, maybe not. I don't know.
No, at least he try and win. You play football to win.
Yeah.
See, your manager sets your team up to win. Right? Yes, defense is important as part of winning, but you have to score goals.
Yes, right? But I never want to hear my manager of England going, well, Rashi and the lads, Rashi and the lads.
Of course.
Trenty and the lads. We tried to push Trenty forward today. Or Double A. We tried to push Double A forward today.
Oh, God. Obviously, I don't want Ollie as bloody manager, but I'm just saying he's better manager than bloody Gareth Southgate.
Ramsey, go in goal.
Ramsdale,
Dale, Emmerdale in goal.
God. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. But it's just shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
We just gonna sing Ramsdale on top of Black Betty. There,
I was about to go. Oh, Ramsdale, bam, a lamb. For some reason,
tune that song.
Great song. So, well, a lot of articles have been written about Double A, Trent Alexander-Arnold. The England admission by Gareth Southgate risks wasting a world-class talent from Adam Bate of Sky. So he's seemingly agreeing with you there that it's just a waste of a world-class talent. I'm not
asked if Trent goes to the World Cup or not.
You want him to be fit for the rest of the season.
I want him to be fit. I want him to have the rest. I
think he will go to the World Cup, but he should be.
I think for himself. The thing is, unfortunately, I hate it is that Europe and the world view international performances quite highly. So if you're not being picked for your country and you're of a certain level, you don't get viewed on very highly. So I don't want Trent's sort of global reputation being besmirched and insignificant little cum stain as Gareth Southgate.
I would love to see Tomori in that squad as well. And actually, to be fair, I'd like to see Tammy Abraham's in that squad as well.
Yeah, right. Tomori deserves to be along with Joe Gomez. I'm trying two of the first names on in terms of England's centre back.
I do think when Stones is fit, I don't think Harry Maguire makes that squad at all.
But the fact that playing Maguire and Cody, shit players, man.
Yes, yeah, awful. Cody and Maguire should not be there.
Shit players, not.
Even Steven Gerrard doesn't like Mings, and he has to manage him. You could just tell Steven Gerrard just doesn't rate Mings, and he has to play him every week because he's all he's got. Insert Darren Farley joke. Yeah, got a group of Mings. I know that's a bit harsh, but they're not the best looking people. So that's Gareth Southgate done and dusted. What were you going to say earlier? He was overrated or something. I can't remember. You were gonna have a rant earlier, and I
I think I
stopped you.
said, no, I think I've already made the point this time because I was going to say, like, the English FA only want a yes man.
Yes,
Um,
which I completely concur. Which is why the greatest manager that ever lived, Brian Clough, never became England manager, because he would have told them how to run the game. So I don't know if you want to join me. I'm just going to do a rendition of Queen's "Another One Bites the Dust," if you don't mind.
Okay.
Dun dun dun. Another one bites the dust. I'm talking about Watford, who have sacked another manager. Dun 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 dun. Another one bites the dust.
Talking about Watford.
Watford have sacked another manager.
Oh God, how many's that now?
About 500.
Jesus Christ! It was this one now who's gone.
Rob Edwards, former Forest Green manager, had 11 games as manager.
Oh, I thought he was like up and coming, like highly rated.
Oh God, no, his career is completely fucked.
Not good enough. Not good enough.
What I loved is because I work in Gloucestershire for BBC local Radio Gloucestershire. They had Dale Vince on, who owns Forest Green, and his words. If I summarise his words, they were kind of like Mortal Kombat fatality level of insult, because he just goes, "Bless him, he tried." I thought that was excellent.
The reason he'll be like that is because he done the deal to go for Watford like during the season. Like behind Forest Green's back, isn't it?
Yes. It was not good, and they've just lost their director of football as well to Portsmouth, and they're not happy about it. But yeah, Rob Edwards just took 11 games. Can't wait for him to pop up in League One, it'll be League Two, won't it? He'll be popping up in League Two or the National League very soon. Maybe if another club gets bought out by some film stars, maybe he'll end up as the head coach there. But beyond that, I don't see him back in football anytime soon. Slaven Bilic is the new Watford boss, and I think he said something akin to, they don't hire head coaches to sack them. So, and Watford though, I think you'd make the exception. They do. They're like, I reckon they meet, and I reckon the discussions at Watford for appointing a new head coach were, so who are we going to appoint and then sack in 6 months?
Yeah, like I bet they were thinking like, who's not going to be asked if we sack them because they're used to it. Slaven Bilic.
Yeah,
he's not gonna be asked, is he? Because he just knows it's going to happen eventually. Soon.
You know the spinning wheel that they used to use on like The Price is Right. And it's that they use that. It's just the Pozzo.
It's all the same
family
managers,
just going boom.
You got Big Sam, Slaven Bilic, all
Roy
the
Hodgson
usual
again.
No, all the usual managers who go around a lot. Where.
Sean Dyche, even though he's a former Watford manager, it'll be all of them, ones. And it'll just be whoever it lands on.
Dean Smith, a lot of them, and it's like let's pick from these managers who we've probably had before 3 or 4 times, but we'll have them again just because,
Yeah, absolutely. Just weird, What a way to run a football club. Although I say that, Salford City do exactly the same. They're the lower league Watford. They sack managers left, right and centre, despite, one of their shareholders, Gary Neville, saying he'd like to see managers be given time. Ollie at the wheel was given plenty of time. Shame you didn't give time to Richie Wellens or anybody like that. You sack managers left, right and centre at Salford. What's that? What's that? Hypocrite? Oh, God. Gary Neville could never be that. Happy retirement to Fabian Delph, the former England. This is any other business now, so we'll have a chat.
Is he retired, does he, Fabian Delph?
Fabian Delph has retired. Former England international retires from football, aged 32. And this was announced midweek. The former Everton, Aston Villa, Man City and Leeds midfielder. 204 Premier League appearances for Everton, City and Aston Villa after starting his career in the Championship with Leeds, and won 20 international caps, and he was a part of the 2018 World Cup squad in Russia, where he made 3 appearances, coming off the bench in the quarter-final win over Sweden. And yeah, just always sad when a player at 32 is kind of a very young age to retire from. Clearly he wasn't getting opportunity. Maybe he wasn't getting work, or maybe the contract offers weren't there. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Maybe he just had enough of the game and wanted to move on. I suspect Fabian Delph will end up in a media job.
Well, yeah, I was going to say,
I reckon
maybe
he'll end up on television.
Maybe going and joining his former teammate Dele Alli at Besiktas.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But I think he'll probably end up on like Football Focus or something like that. I see somebody making a play for him to put him on television. Also, in any other business, we kind of covered this. Hull sacked their manager before their game against Luton and subsequently lost the game. They were taken over in the middle towards the end of last season. Shota Alverde was the manager. He's spent just 8 months in charge of the club, sacked. And I think the only memory I have is them losing to Bradford City in the League Cup. That's about it. Yeah, so it is what it is. Staying with any other business, Huddersfield Town have got a new manager, Mark Fodringham. He's new head coach there. Derby County have taken Rotherham United's manager. Paul Werner is the new head coach with immediate effect. And Mark Noble returns to his childhood club as the sporting director, West Ham United. Mark Noble, I don't understand the difference between a sporting director and a director of football. I suppose a sporting director focuses on every aspect of the club, whereas the director of football just, I suppose, looks after the first team.
Probably, yeah. But what I don't get is how is Mark Noble remotely qualified to do that position? Is it because he's been there all his career? Is that what it is? Just he's a local lad and he loves the club. Therefore, we'll hand the reins of like all our football operations to him.
Yeah.
Has he done any kind of qualifications at all?
Yeah. No idea.
Like, I understand giving former players like positions in the club after retirement, whether it's coaching or something in the background. Like, Ian Rush is still an ambassador for us, and stuff like that. That's fine because he just goes and promotes the club around the world, and they'll play in like the Legends games and things like that, which is fine. But you wouldn't put Ian Rush or a former Liverpool player as like, director of football or like someone high up, because it's like, well, they don't know what they're doing. They should play for the club.
Exactly. They just go, oh, here you go.
Because then if you give one player who was a good player a position like that, you could then any player could come along, a former player come along and say, oh well, I'd serve position. Some crap person who you barely played for you at all. But for us, it'd be like Andre Voronin or something like that. Shit that he was.
Barini? That name comes to mind for some reason.
Fabio Barini. Yeah, Fabio Barini. Iago Aspas. Yeah. Shit players like that, yeah.
Rhian Brewster.
Rhian Brewster. I tell you what, when he was with us and every time he played, I was like, you know what, I actually held hope. Until the end, I actually had hope that he'd turn out. And every time he played, he was just shit. There was just nothing. With young player, they're not gonna, unless they're like generation talents, they're not gonna hit the ground running, right? They're not gonna score in the first match. But every time he played, he just looked like just awful.
He's joined a long list of great players like Ravel Morrison, Saido Berahino, to have had a good 5 minutes and then completely wasted the rest of their careers. So yeah, hopefully things improve.
When we sold him, I think we sold him for 20 million. I think to Sheffield United, and then I think we had like a buyback clause. After 3 years for 36 million or something, and I'm like, if it's I remember thinking, if he starts playing well, we might use that. No,
I think you were wrong on that front. And in financial news, because I know everybody loves financial news, the economy's shit and the Prime Minister's an idiot. But that's not the financial news. Manchester United have announced a net loss of £115.5 million even though their revenues rose by 18% to £583 million. Now, the reason I bring this up is because Gary Neville's always berating American ownership of football clubs. Really, he just means the Glazers. I mean, there are clubs run by Americans that actually are decent clubs, well-run clubs. It's just Manchester United aren't. And the thing that and one of the reasons that I make this, they lost £2 million per week last season. That's Manchester United. But the thing is, those greedy bastards, the Glazers, still took dividends out the club, even though it made a loss.
Record high dividends out the club. Yeah,
we've run this club very poorly, but we still need that money.
That's it. We bought the money on debt. The debt is now risen to like 1.5 billion or something. Instead of actually paying it off and actually getting rid of the debt, we're actually going to still make as much money as we can and take our fair share of it out.
Absolutely, and
even when the club is operating like it's literally losing money, right? They're still taking their money.
They took £33.6 million out of the club.
Yeah,
that's because Manchester United to them has always been a piggy bank.
Yeah, it's just their cow, and they're gonna milk it until someone is stupid enough to cough up like something ridiculous like 6 billion or something.
Absolutely. Which, to be honest, if you've got the money, I don't think Manchester United's a bad investment.
No, it's not. You'll make loads of money from it if you run it right.
If you run it right, I mean, the stadium needs a bit of an upgrade, as does the training ground.
The training ground needs upgrading. And
Carrington needs an upgrading. The stadium needs an upgrade.
The stadium needs. To be honest, Old Trafford needs to be demolished.
I don't think it needs to be demolished. It's need of major work.
But the thing is, by the time the amount of money you're going to spend upgrading it, you may as well just knock it down and build a new one.
No, I wouldn't do that. And the reason for why is because would Barcelona knock down the new camp? No, they'd renovate it. Are Real Madrid knocking down the Bernabeu? No, they're renovating it. You have to renovate it.
Hang on. Like, Real Madrid are what they're doing is they're spreading the cost of renovating the stadium over like 25 years. That's what they're doing.
That's called solid business plan. Although saying that. Solid business plan is not how I would describe Spanish football at the moment.
No, definitely not. Not El Spotify. El Spotify.
Yes, of course. Sorry, I called it by the incorrect name, the new camp or the Camp Nou. It's actually El Spotify. Yes, Stadio El Spotify. Spotify El Stadio. Stadio El Guns N' Roses. That's a better name. That's a better name. Better than Wonga.com Stadium. Hi, Blackpool.
Wonga.com. Hi, Blackpool.
Remember when they were in the Premier League.
And Charlie Adam played for them, and we bought it from them.
Yeah. I mean, no offence. Actually, you said about an uglier man than Diego Costa.
No. Charlie Adam has that Scottish charm about him.
Hang on, he's got all the Scottish charm of a drug mule.
Shut up. The thing is, I'd go for a pint with Charlie Adam, and you'd have a boss night. With Diego Costa, you'd like be scared that he was gonna like, I don't know, like trying to sexually attack you.
Allegedly. I would say, okay, whatever. Let's move on from this before we get sued.
I just imagine, and you can probably say for any like middle-aged Scottish fella, you could imagine going and have a glass of whiskey with them and just go, just enjoying,
No. Charlie Adam looks like the guy who'd kiss you at the end of the night, and that kiss is a Glasgow kiss, aka a headbutt to your face.
Fuck off! Shut up.
Right.
Yeah, Diego Costa's actually really trying to kiss you. Try and put French kiss you.
You know what? Charlie Adam brings up a great point because Scotland, they've got a new TV deal. Who'd
win the fight, Charlie Adam or Diego Costa?
I don't want to speculate, but if they are going to do it, replace Tyson Fury versus AJ, because that's not happening. Sky Sports box office. The fight of the century. Charlie Adam versus Diego Costa.
I think it's hilarious. It's you said that then just remind me of BT Sport, WWE on BT Sport.
WWE on BT Sport.
We're live in Cardiff.
We're live in Cardiff, where you can watch the greatest fight of them all for the WWE Championship as Charlie Adam versus Diego Costa Coffee. Oh, wait, he's got nothing to do with that? Okay, all right. Diego Costa. Are we sure he doesn't have anything to do with Diego Starbucks? Do you reckon he should just get sponsored and change his last name from Costa to Starbucks if a coffee company wants to sponsor him?
Please God, that'd be the funniest thing ever if he did.
Diego Starbucks.
He'd probably do it for the memes.
Oh, Diego Starbucks. Right, yes, the SPFL have got a new broadcasting deal worth £150 million. It makes the that's chump change compared to like the billions they spend on the Premier League.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Who gives a crap about Scottish football?
I mean, presumably Scottish people, but
that's it.
I mean, I wouldn't say Celtic and Rangers fans care about Scottish football. Could you imagine? They care about each other. That's about it.
Right. You know the way fans around the world they'll get up sometimes really early. Oh, they're still up late to watch football match in the Premier League. Right. Can you imagine someone in Tokyo, some random like teenage girl, for example, getting up early in the morning because Kilmarnock are playing at 3:00 in the morning?
Kilmarnock versus Inverness Caledonian Thistle live on ESPN.
And you know what? I don't even think the American person saying that the commentator could even announce
Hamilton Academical.
Yeah, Caledonian Thistle. They couldn't even say that.
Versus How do I say this? Cow and beef. Cow and beef. Cow and beef.
Oh yeah, Queen of the South. Against
Cow and beef. Stranrear versus Celtic. Stranrear. Actually, it's pronounced Stranraer. That's what I said. Stranrear, and it's Cowden beef, not cow and beef. Cow and beef. No, it's Cowden beef.
Or they couldn't even. You know what? And I bet they couldn't even announce the word Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough. Berwick Rangers. Instead of Berwick.
Hey, have you seen on YouTube like people American people and like trying to pronounce English?
Yes, reading.
Cities. Oh, it's just
reading instead of reading. I know how that one's pronounced. Reading.
They always say Worcester.
Worcestershire.
Actually,
to be fair, I know English people that can't say Worcestershire or Worcester.
Worcester, yeah.
Worcestershire.
And Leicester.
Leicester, Lancashire. Lancaster. Repeat after me. Clanvaeth Puthwingeth Gegerinth Windrobbers Lantasilio Go Go Koch. Go Go Go. Okay, great. Fantastic.
Nailed
it. Great American. To be fair, there are people in Wales that can't say that town name. Except me, because I got bored one day. Yes, Sky have signed a new TV deal worth £150 million with Scottish football. So apparently the target is they're trying to get £50 million per club, which is when each club gets like £116 million a season in the Premier League. How much do they get in the Championship? That's what I want to know. Is the Scottish Premiership now better, now worth more money than the Championship? The EFL Championship. I still think it's pretty damn close. Because they've got to share it, haven't they? So, what is the how much do EFL clubs, Championship clubs get? It doesn't actually say, but I'd assume it's around the same amount of money, around 50 million. But do you think Scottish football is worth £50 million a season to every club?
15.
50. 50.
Oh, 50. So
15.
every club gets 50 million.
If they're in the Premiership, yeah.
Yeah.
Really? I would have thought if they had done it like a Spanish football used to do it and just sold the TV rights individually, the majority of the money would have gone to Celtic and Rangers. Because let's face it, the only two clubs that anyone gives a shit about.
The vast majority would have gone to them too, because they're the only decent, half decent bloody teams in the league. That's the same for most leagues, though, isn't it? You'll have, you got your one or two highest ones, and then you get your others that aren't as much. But even like the lower end ones in the Premier League get more than some top clubs in other leagues.
So apparently the Rangers are were opposed to this deal. So yeah, Rangers and Livingston delayed the proposals because they were unhappy. They felt, and this is a direct article from the Scotsman, Rangers actually proposed four possible alternatives to Sky Sports. So 30 million. So essentially, it's a long-term deal. It's about a 4-year to 5-year extension to their current agreement, and it adds. I think they're allowed to broadcast 40-ish games, and it takes it to 60 matches per season, which includes the lower leagues in Scotland as well, and the Women's League as well, of course. But Rangers, that they recognised the strength of their partnership with Sky Sports. They wanted the league to consider other options instead of just going, right, okay, great, fantastic, we'll sign that. And as we've seen...
Which you can understand.
You can understand, but as we've seen in other leagues where, So Rangers were saying, well, why don't we just go back to BT Sport and say, well, this is what Sky is offering us, because Scottish football used to be jointly broadcast on Sky and BT, and now it's only just on Sky. It's been only just Sky for a couple of years. And with BT joining Discovery, the Discovery Group, which own Eurosport, I assume they're going to have a bigger budget for this. And then you've got like DAZN, that weird one, that broadcasts a lot of boxing as a streamer. Amazon, I think they were being very ambitious and I think Rangers, the problem here was they were overestimating the value of Scottish football, because I don't think Amazon would have given them the amount of money that Sky has paid them. So they've gone from 48 games to 60 games a season, and it looks okay for Scottish football. But what we've seen in other leagues is the leagues essentially leverage their television money. So we've seen it with Ligue 1 now in France, where a capital group like CVC Capital Partners, for instance, I'm not saying they're the ones that work with Ligue 1, but they offered a deal to La Liga where they were like, we'll buy 10% of your rights fees for the next so and so many years. We take that, and we'll invest up front this amount of money. And of course, Barcelona and Real Madrid were opposed to that. But what this deal has been described as, and there's a brilliant podcast about this called The Price of Football, and they've described this as the payday loan of football, where these are essentially American investment firms go, well, we'll give you this much money up front, say £50 million, so that's however much money per club, but we get 10% of your future television rights earnings. So if they increase, we've made a profit on our investment. That's essentially what they're doing. That is how it works. Yeah. And it's the payday loan of football. Obviously, the Premier League will never need that. Serie A, Ligue 1, Bundesliga, La Liga have all considered it. I don't like it, I don't know about you, but I find it completely dodgy.
Yeah.
It's a horrible, horrible thing. Apparently, Lewandowski's put Barcelona in the lead in their match tonight against Mallorca. Mallorca. They are away at Real Mallorca. So now that we've discussed Scottish football, we're nearing the end of the programme. We might have enough time to do the certain story that I don't really want to. Back in any other business then. I like this story. West Bromwich Albion, their women's team are going to switch from white shorts to navy shorts due to concerns over periods, essentially.
Do you think they're going to start running? You're going to see blood on the inside of the shorts?
Well, genuinely, that was the concern of the women's players. And they have now changed.
The players themselves are concerned about it.
Yes, the players themselves have asked for the change.
The thing is,
the club has listened to them, and they've changed it from white shorts to navy blue.
I understand, right? But the thing is that even on navy shorts, if an accident happens and blood starts coming down, you're still going to be able to see it.
I think it's less visible on.
It is less visible. Of course, it's less visible, but you're still going to be able to see it. If they're okay with that,
this is something that the players wanted, and the club has listened to the players and has changed the short colour to navy blue, which I'm a big proponent of and big supporter. I just like it. Yeah. I like the idea of it. Right, I suppose we're about to talk about this Oxford United of new owners. Do we have to? I mean, no, we don't have to. We could just move on. Oxford United have got new owners. There you go. They're going to bankrupt them. Great. Fantastic stuff. Right, that's it. Oxford United have gone bankrupt, and that's the football fan show for today. So I suppose better. They've bought it. They've got an Indonesian investor who's just bought a 51% stake in the club called Anindaya. I'm butchering this. Sorry, Bakri. Anindaya Bakri, that's what I'm going to go for.
Nice.
They bought 51%, and hopefully, if you're an Oxford United fan, that they'll pump money into the club, and you should be able to get into the National League. You want to know what makes Swindon Town better than Oxford United? We've never played in the conference. They have. We've also never been relegated to the conference.
Hang on. But the thing is, you could also say, have Swindon ever played in the Premier League?
Yes, we have. And have Oxford ever played in the Premier League? Never.
Okay, well, the thing is, right, is that
you're just proving my point. We're a bigger club, better club.
You're just comparing. You're saying, well, I love Swindon are my club, and I also hate Oxford then, but therefore I'm just going to compare them two, and you're going to ignore every other club, right? There's loads of things that loads of other clubs have done that are so-called worse than Swindon, but have done better than Swindon in the past.
Have they ever won the League Cup? Have Oxford United ever won the League Cup? That's actually a genuine question.
Hey, you just don't like them.
They actually have.
Yeah.
85, 86. Fuck them. Fuck Oxford. They drew 1-1 with Charlton Athletic, another club I really don't like. Thanks for stealing our manager and our players, you bastards. Finally, Brighton, new manager. Don't know much about him. He's the former Shakhtar manager. Looking good today. What are you expecting from Brighton now? Do you expect this new manager bounce to continue, or they're fourth in the Premier League?
Relegation.
Really? Is this just based on today's frustrating performance, even though they looked absolutely fantastic today?
To be fair, I'd say, first half looked great because we look shit. But second half, they look bang average. Second half. We just didn't put them away, and they got one good attack because our defence fell asleep, and they scored an equaliser. So I want them to be relegated. Nothing more, nothing less.
Nothing else is acceptable other than relegation.
Self-destruction.
Self-destruction. Utter capitulation.
Yeah. From
Brighton and Hove Albion. Somehow, I don't think that's going to happen.
I didn't even get the guy's name. What was his name?
Roberto De Zerbi.
Right. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. I watched the match today on a BN Sports English channel right?
Oh yes, with Keys and Gray.
Right. The co-commentator of that match, I don't know what his name was, but I think he's Scottish, right? It wasn't Ali McCoy or anything like that. But he was a twat, right? He was, and I made mumble laugh by saying this, he was, I swear to God, I'm 100% seriousness, sponsored by Brighton. Because he was...
Today's commentary team is sponsored by Brighton.
No, he was...
And Manchester United.
No, honestly, no, right, because he was jacking off when he was, like, you hear him talking about Brighton, shouting with exuberance and excitement and passion, and he was just like full on, like on at us about how bad we've been, how great Brighton are. And I had to mute them. I thought, I can't listen to this guy because he is just full on up Brighton's ass. I'm oh, no, that's not right, that. I'm like, I get it when, I mean, you know me, I don't like Steve McManaman because he doesn't like us. I don't like the main guy from eSport, Darren, whatever his name is.
Darren Fletcher?
Darren Fletcher, because I don't think they like Liverpool at all whenever they come, but they both commentate on match all the time. But this guy today, I swear, he was either a Brighton fan or he had some kind of thing going on with them because he could not get enough. He was like salivating with them, and he was literally masturbating himself to death thinking about them. And I thought, no, that's not right. That you're meant to be impartial. Even if you have a slight leaning towards one team or another, you are meant to be neutral when you're a commentator. That's not good enough, in my opinion.
I think if you're broadcasting for a national broadcaster, yes. If you're working on local radio, you can be as biased as you like.
Yeah, but that's local radio. I'm not talking about local radio, am I?
Yeah, no.
I'm talking about beIN Sports. I mean, although it's the English beIN Sports English, right? But beIN Sports are sort of the whole Middle East. As a whole, the Middle East, aren't they?
They're Qatar, yes.
Yeah, so it's like it's national, but the international in some cases, TV. And this guy was full on buddy up Brighton's arse. And there's about from the 70th minute onwards, I thought, no, I've had enough. This guy's pissing me off too much now. Mute.
Well, there you go. You muted beIN Sport.
Yeah.
Of course, if you are going to watch football, don't pay for it. 2020. Also, a bit of news before we look ahead to the fixtures and the Champions League. By the way, there is not. I don't think there's a week in this month where there isn't a Premier League or Champions League match because we're in the rush to the World Cup, and obviously you've got to finish those Champions League
matches. We've got 9 matches. We've got 3 Champions League matches and 6 Premier League matches.
Jesus, because we're in the build-up to the World Cup now, which kicks off next month. Jesus, it's the 1st of October.
50 days.
Yeah, 50 days until the World Cup, until we get to see England capitulate. Speaking of international football, the Confederation of African Football is to reopen the bidding process for the 2025 African Cup of Nations after stripping Guinea of the right to host the competition, with Morocco among the nations set to apply. This seems to happen all the time in African football, where they're like, okay, you can host it. No, we don't want you to host it. We're going to give it to them instead.
There must be a reason.
I think they'd like to play pass the parcel. Yes, the 2025 Nations Cup allocated to Guinea will not take place there because they're not ready. They're not ready, apparently.
Because I think there was actually like civil war. I think not civil war, but there was rebel fighting against the government. Yes. I think not recently, but like in the past like 6 months to a year.
The military junta, which is never a good collection of words to say, was committed to hosting the 2025 finals and reassured that they would release funds to be able to build the infrastructure to be able to host it. But CAF have now said, nope, we're taking it back and we're going to run the bidding process all over again. I reckon they should turn it into a reality TV show. Like The Voice, you have the executives sat on a chair with their backs turned to the bidding party, and then they press a button, and it's like, turns out it's Guinea that they wanted it all along. And it's like, you guys, you shouldn't be here bidding for this competition. Go on, scram you. You silly billies. And that was this week's edition of the Football Fan Show podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. Back again next week with another edition where we'll be talking all things football, presumably about Bruno Lage being sacked by Wolves, which of course we didn't cover because we recorded this the day before, and maybe Middlesbrough sacking Chris Wilder as well. That's just an idea. Let's hope nothing else breaks in the week. Hey, we'll see you next week, and if you can leave us a positive review on whatever podcast platform you're on, thank you very much. I've been Danny Harrington, my guest. Once again, it's been Callum Brown. This has been the Football Fan Show. We will see you next time.